Hold up, before you get to watching this video, let me talk to you for a second. Hit that bell down below and subscribe to the Fitz Take Podcast YouTube channel so you'll know when every episode is dropping or if something has been posted on this page. Also, be sure to follow me and Elijah on our social media platforms. They will be linked down in the description. Now back to the episode. Now the 49ers outlast the Seattle Seahawks 36-24. As I was popping in and out looking at this game, the overarching theme that I continued to see was just Brock Purdy's ability to be a polished quarterback, to be able to make plays. He ended up finishing the game 18 of 28, 255 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. That's a QB rating of 129.3. The 49ers were able to rush for 228 yards themselves. They were extremely balanced. 33 rushes to 28 passes. Deebo Samuel had 3 catches, 102 and a touchdown. George Kittle had 5 catches, 58 yards and 2 touchdowns. Shout out fantasy points. And initially it looked like the 49ers was going to blow out the Seahawks because I think at one point it was 23-3. So that means that Seattle ended up outscoring them 24-12 to close out the game, or 24-13 to close out the game. But when you having to come from behind like that, it just makes it so hard. You're never gonna be able to ultimately climb out of that hole, especially when you can't get stops. And then Geno Smith turned the ball over twice. So you factor those 2 things in, it's always gonna be hard. Elijah, you know both of these teams well as a fan because you watch all the time, seeing them in your division with your Rams. What do you make of this game? And will the 49ers be another legitimate contender despite, having all the injuries that they're dealing with?
Yeah. I think as long as you got Kyle Shanahan calling plays, you always got a chance with the 49ers. Only thing is, though, what's going to hurt them is that I don't think their defense is as strong. I know they got 2 turnovers today against Geno Smith, but the 49ers don't look the same. I think it's a strong part to their defense, but I also think with their running game because San Fran is the type of team that they want to hold the ball as long as they can, and then they're successful at those drives of getting points, whether it's touchdowns or field goals, more so touchdowns. But the guy that they're really missing is Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey did it all for them last year, whether catching out the backfield, making long runs, and things of that nature. With him not being back there, it shows us a big difference because San Fran is a running back by committee, I should say, right now.
Yeah.
They don't have a strong back right now that could lead the charge, and that's what's going to hurt them. Brock Purdy, I'm not a big fan of him, but he makes good plays when needed. But the heart and soul comes from the backfield for the 49ers because of how their offense is set up. So I think 49ers, the 49ers be okay, but I don't think they'll be the team that everybody think they were or how they were last year because of the simple fact they don't have Christian McCaffrey. And Seahawks, they stink. I don't think they at all. I don't think the Seahawks are good at all. I'm not gonna lie to you. I just think the first 3 games that they won were kind of flukes. As you can see, they lost to the Giants last week, who didn't have their number 1 receiver, and Daniel Jones. So it's like,
I mean the first 3 wins they got, Broncos, Patriots, Dolphins, and I think the Dolphins win was after Tua got hurt.
mm-hmm.
After that, they got spanked by the Lions. Like you said, they lost to the Giants, and now they lost to the 49ers. So they're on a 3-game losing streak. I don't know, man. That NFC West is always a very interesting division because there are always like weird moments where, like right now, y'all as the Rams are 1-4, they can turn around and go on a 6-game win streak just out of nowhere. That division is always the Wild West for real. Like it's always been like that. The 49ers have kind of been the mainstays for quite some time now. But like you said, they weren't as strong. Ultimately, the way that they were able to put this game away was because they got 3 turnovers. Geno throws 2 picks. Seattle has a fumble. And that's ultimately what puts them in a position. You take those turnovers away, and it's a completely different ball game. You potentially are talking about the 49ers losing, or it being a much closer ball game, a much closer finish for them to have to win. I do believe that Brock Purdy is continuing to find a way to make plays. And when you have a guy like that under center for you, that his responsibility is all about just, I'm going to get the ball to my play. Like it was one play that he did a play action fake and he threw it to Deebo Samuels and Deebo did the rest. It was like a 70-something yard touchdown. He didn't have to throw that ball far at all. He just had to get it to Deebo Samuel and he did the rest. Like when you have all those pieces, when you have him, you have a Christian McCaffrey, you have a Brandon Ayuk, you have a George Kittle. Like when you have pieces like that, bro, all you got to do is go out there and not turn the football over. And it's exactly what he did tonight. And so that's their winning formula. That's what's going to make them always be in position to win ball games. And that's ultimately what is going to put them in a position to potentially be the winners of the NFC West towards the end of the season. So when you look at, I guess, the NFC as a whole, like, is it not necessarily wide open, but is it an interesting place to be in right now? Because, I mean, you look at the Vikings are undefeated. The Commanders are 4-1. And then from there, it's kind of just pretty much, I mean, then you got Detroit 3-1, Dallas 3-2. And then from there, it's kind of pretty much everybody else. I know it's still early, but do you feel like the NFC is pretty much wide open in terms of who's the true Super Bowl contender?
I definitely do. I think Minnesota comes out as the number 1 seed, but I don't think they'll go far in the playoffs. I think anybody could beat anybody, just like how we talk about college football. But for the NFC, I think it's so wide open because every team, every team has their strengths and weaknesses. But I think, like for the Vikings, I think what Detroit could do, I think Detroit could knock them out easily. For Detroit, I think Philadelphia could knock them out easily. Philadelphia, I think San Fran could knock them out easily. So it's like, they could keep going. And San Fran, I think Green Bay could beat San Fran. So I just think that it's wide open in that sense. But I think that with scheduling, I think that the Vikings can go to and be the number 1 seed coming out the NFC. But I don't think it means anything because, like I said, anybody could beat anybody in the NFC. So I don't think the number 1 seed means anything at all on that side of the bracket.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you with that. As long as Minnesota continues to click right now, because Sam Darnold is playing at an MVP, comeback player of the year, he is playing lights out right now. And as long as he continues to get the ball to Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, all his playmakers and stuff, they're gonna continue to do what they're doing. But it's like you said, the rest of those seedings, where as long as you get in and you're playing good football there at the end of the season, that is all that matters. Right now, the 49ers being a 500 team, as long as they can continue to kind of ride this momentum, I think that we'll be able to see what they'll be made of once we get to the end of the season, going into the postseason. And I think that we'll be in for a pretty good playoffs, man, in the postseason. It'll be exciting to see what it looks like. Thank you so much for watching this clip of the Fitz Take podcast. Be sure to like this video and also subscribe to the YouTube channel. And also follow me and Elijah on our social media platforms. They will be linked down in the description. And remember, every episode of the Fitz Take podcast will air right here on the YouTube channel every Monday at 2 p.m. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.